Hey everybody, Robot here from Vespa Motorsport, ScooterWest.com. So a little different than the prior video. Here's a full restoration that we just completed here in our service department at Vespa Motorsport. My brother Scott, he did all the mechanical restoration, and I had a paint body guy that's been doing it for years, knows Vespas very well. They're very, very hard to do body work on compared to a car because you have to make both sides of the sheet metal perfect in order to have a good, successful restoration. This scooter is a 1964 Allstate. They were sold through the Sears stores here in North America. And I'll kind of go through some of the unique features of the Sears bikes. This isn't a technical restoration because there's a lot of upgrades. And I'll talk about some of those upgrades as I kind of go from the front all the way to the back. It's a beautiful bike nonetheless, refinished in fairly close to the original color that a lot of these Allstates would have been painted. Obviously the paint job is much higher end than what it originally would have been painted. It would have been a single stage paint with a slightly darker red finish. This is more of a fire engine red. It's actually a real Vespa color, but it has a clear coat on it, so it just gives a much more lustrous appearance than what the scooter originally would have looked like back in 1964. The Allstates, specifically this style, which is kind of real similar to a V&B, a VBB Vespa, just the regular 150 or 125 Vespa with an 8-inch tire. They had various combinations, sometimes 3-speed, sometimes 4-speed. The 64 and 65 had 4-speed transmission, which is a good thing, gives them a little extra speed. But starting with the classic vintage Vespa front end, see that classic fender right there. We refinished all the fork components in kind of a sparkly powder coat. And again, it's a little more lustrous than what it originally would have been from the factory, but nonetheless it looks really great and it's very durable. So all these pieces have been refinished. The front dampener isn't normally part of the 1964. That's kind of the charm of the Allstates. They're pretty dangerous to ride because they don't have a front shock or a dampener. 1965, the very last years of these Allstates, they did add the dampener. Definitely makes for a much better ride despite being on 8-inch tires. Not a scooter you really want to be going more than 45, maybe 50 miles an hour on. But the classic front end is pretty similar to what's on my Rally 200 nonetheless, other than I have a 10-inch tire, a bigger brake because the 10-inch went to a bigger brake setup. Refinished the rims in the same color as the body and did the Shinko white wall tires that definitely give it that old school classic look. Got the classic metal fender crest. As for the horn, it's the classic style. It's not the clamshell that you find on the higher end Vespas of the period. Moving up to the badge, you got the Allstate badge. That's an aluminum badge. I think that's a reproduction badge, but it's very, very close to the original. A lot of people look here, where's the Piaggio badge? Well, the Allstate, they didn't bother putting any badge right here, but you can see the rectangle where a Piaggio badge would go. Sometimes the higher end Vespas, they would have a leg shield edge trim. The Allstates just came in an unfinished sheet metal edge on here. Moving on to the handlebars here, you got the classic all aluminum handlebars with the CM headlight. We got a CM reproduction headlight assembly in there. It looks really nice. The classic bulb, so it's not some fancy LED that looks super modern and in many ways out of place on this era of scooter. You got the classic gray grips, pointing levers, the simple switch control on the right side. Originally, the Allstate from 1964 would just had a blank off plate right here with no speedometer. It was sold as an optional accessory, I think through the Sears stores as well. So right now it's got a replacement speedometer, or no, it's actually the original speedometer. It's just been rebuilt with a new faceplate and rim on there. And Of course, you got to run the speedometer cable, and it's not, I don't think it's been hooked up yet. And there's also the speedometer drive, which is an extra gear you got to add to the front hub in order for the mechanical cable to drive the speedometer. My opinion, these older slow scooters probably don't even need a speedometer. Here's like, at this point, they're a boulevard cruiser. You got the classic lock. There's something that's very unique about this scooter that's definitely was not original, is this glove box. So the glove box is certainly not original. Glove boxes were found on scooters such as the GS or the Supersport of the mid-60s. So sometimes people would purchase the glove box and install the screw bosses in order to bolt this onto the leg shields, because the leg shield design of all the large frames is very, very similar. Ironically, I have a Vespa GL, which is a mid-60s Vespa GL, and somebody added a glove box to that scooter as well. That lock's not original. I think my GL does have the original Supersport lock, which is kind of a little bit different style. Moving on to the floorboards, you got the classic brake pedal, and it's got the narrow floor runners. These actually take quite a bit of time to install. There's some other holes that somebody did add at one time. Put the floor mat in there. Moving on to the badge, there's the original badge, the 788-94331, which is indicating it's a 64. A 65 would be 94332, if I recall. So that's the original Sears and Roebuck badge. This ugly badge right here, this was added by the CHP, California Highway Patrol, for registration purposes at some point in the scooter's life. We just put it back in there because there was already holes on there and it was original to the scooter. The story with this scooter is it's always been in the same family ownership. So I think son or a grandson wanted to get this restored, but it's pretty cool. Some families have this all these years. We put the classic twin saddles. Sometimes the Allstates would be so minusculely outfitted, you would not have a spare tire, you would not have the pillion pad, you just have the single rider saddle that's like kind of on a spring setup. So yeah, you don't have a suspension on the front, but you do have an extra spring to kind of bounce along the road when you're riding this thing. They definitely got a pretty unique riding characteristic with the springy seat and no dampener. Well, this one's got the dampener. So you got the fuel tank right here, and it requires a 2% mix since these do have a rotary valve. Then this is your glove box right here. So you got that glove box where you could put your 2-stroke oil or gloves, rags, grocery shopping, whatever. If I recall, this cowl was in pretty bad shape. We sent it out to the sandblaster and there's quite a few holes in it. So it needed quite a bit of welding work to it to restore that left-hand cowl. Moving on to the back, again, the pillion pad is not normally with it, but it's definitely a period accessory to the scooter. And then there's a bracket that holds the spare tire. It definitely gives it a really cool look with that kind of continental look rear tire. So moving on to the taillight. So 64 would have just had a real basic rectangle small taillight. This is a taillight that's like a 60s period taillight. Nice reproduction with a nice inset there with the aluminum around the reflector. So it's definitely a period taillight, but it's not what you'd find on an Allstate normally. Same with the plate. We put the plate kind of where it needs to go. All right, so moving on to the engine side cowl. So the cowl does remove very carefully with this little bracket right here. And we did a fairly original restoration of the motor. There's no electronic ignition. The only thing that looks modern to me when I look at all this is it's got a more modern spark plug cap and a slightly more modern ignition coil in place of the original coil that may have had. Still has the original metal tins all on the motor. Sent those out to get powder coated to give them a nice clean, kind of polished look to it. Did a little wire management here, keep everything kind of nice and tidy. Just the basic 4-speed 150cc motor. They definitely aren't any sort of powerhouse. If I recall, they're like 5 or 7 horsepower, if that. Like I said, maybe it goes about 45 miles an hour, 50 if you're going downhill. So here's a cowl. These are typically really difficult to restore. You can get reproduction cowls, but my biggest criticism of the reproduction cowls, they don't have the nice sharp lines sometimes, like the original cowl. Definitely needed some repairs. You could see one of these louvers has been carefully stitched in. There's a small amount of evidence of the welding in there, but unlike that restoration, the louvers from the outside look absolutely perfect, you know, like they would have originally on the original sheet metal. So that's the biggest pitfall of these Vespas. They're just really difficult to do the sheet metal work. The mechanical restoration, like rebuilding the motor, to me, that's the easy part. All right, so I'm happy to share this with everybody, and I'm gonna be pretty happy to hand it over to the owner. Of course, the $1 million question, and it literally is the $1 million question. Everybody asks, what does it take and what does it cost to restore a Vespa? I can certainly tell you almost all Vespas, except for the most valuable collectible Vespas, you know, maybe a Super Sport, a GS 150, a SS 90. Those are the only scooters you could probably restore, and maybe you would increase the value of the scooter. A scooter like this, an Allstate, is a pretty just garden variety scooter. They made a lot of these back in the day. Typically on the used market, maybe something this nice is worth about $5,000. You could probably get 5, maybe 6. Since it's just the standard variety Vespa. And I could just tell you the paint job costs far more than just what the price of what this scooter would go for. You know, all the body work. It's just hours and hours of body work, and not including the paint work. Of course, you can do low-end paint jobs and all that. I'm sure you could find the guy in the corner, paint your Vespa for $400 still, but I'm sure it will look like a $400 paint job. So kind of ask the cost of this. You think about the mechanical restoration, you know, the 20, 30 hours that it takes a tech to put this all together, you know, maybe even more like 45 hours total, with what labor rates are here in California. I mean, San Diego is like one of the most costly places to live. A modest house is like $1 million here. So that kind of puts it in perspective what it may cost to restore something like this. So yeah, is it worth it? I don't know. It's a sentimental attachment to the customer. They've had this for essentially their lifetime since the scooter's been new. So it's kind of puts a different perspective on the scooter when you do a restoration in that example. And that's what several of our restorations in the past have been, just been people that just had the scooter for a very long time and they want to bring it back to its former glory. So you have an old barn find Vespa, you want to restore it yourself, it's a great project, especially if you're in a climate where you have a winter where you're in the garage and have hours and hours. All the resources are out there to do that. Like I said, the hard part is the paint and body work, unless you're paint and body work by trade. You can certainly learn it. I certainly don't know how to do much of it, but the mechanical part, it's all very well documented, including on many of my several past videos. I'm talking videos I've done 10 years ago on restoring a scooter that's like 2 generations newer than this, from the 80s. They're very, very similar. They didn't really change. Vespas from 1959 all the way to the very last PX in 2016, they have a ton more in common with, you know, with each other than the modern Vespas. If you're comparing like a Primavera modern Vespa to a GTS, all really similar. So any of those old videos I did are definitely going to be key in giving you tips and on how to restore this. Well, if you want us to do it, well, I pretty much explained it's going to be pretty expensive. We can certainly do it for you at a professional level, and that comes with a professional price tag as well. But got all the parts here at scooterwest.com. So, nice thing about these vintage Vespas, a lot of parts are shared through all the years. There's some unique parts. Sheet metal, that's where it gets a little difficult, you know, finding an original body that's worthwhile restoring. If you had one of those bent, rust holes all over, it's probably not worth the effort unless it's just an extremely rare Vespa. Thanks for watching. Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and scooterwest.com. I'll see you on the next one.